File transfer complete.
This is the Arizona Podcast. Stories about the people, places, and events found along the highways and back roads of the Grand Canyon State.
Hey there, and welcome to the Arizona Podcast. Today, we spotlight the city of Winslow, Arizona. I'll also be speaking with the mayor of Winslow, the Honorable Roberta Cano. We'll talk about the diversity in cultures, environments, and of course, preparations for the Route 66 Centennial in 2026. This edition of the Arizona Podcast being brought to you in part by ESET, the best and award-winning comprehensive multi-platform security for all aspects of your digital life. Whatever you do online, stay protected with ESET Internet Security. And the Marriott Bonvoy Card by Chase, where you earn points and elite night credits, plus a free night stay every anniversary with the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless Card. And by Passport America, the original and world's largest 50% discount camping club, where you can save at over 1,200 quality campgrounds across America, including almost 100 right here in Arizona and at the Take It Easy RV Park in Winslow. To learn more, visit ArizonaPodcast.com and follow the links to start saving today. That's ArizonaPodcast.com. The city of Winslow and a moment with the mayor, Roberta Cano, is next in this edition of the Arizona Podcast.
Every year, hundreds of public safety officers and roadside workers are injured or killed while helping stranded motorists. Arizona's move-over law requires all drivers to move over a lane of traffic for any stationary vehicle with flashing lights. If unsafe to change lanes, slow down. This includes first responders, tow trucks, and stranded motorists.
Give public safety officers and roadside workers the space they need to do their jobs. Move over every vehicle, every time.
And today we're talking about the city of Winslow, Arizona, a small town with big adventures. Now, Winslow was incorporated back in 1900. It's just about 100 miles west of the New Mexico border on Interstate 40, sits at just under 5,000 feet elevation, and covers just about 13 square miles. Now, Winslow is home to a multitude of attractions, including a stop on the Mother Road at the famed Standing on the Corner Park. It's made famous by the band The Eagles with their 1972 hit song, Take It Easy. Not familiar with the lyrics? Well, I'm standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford slowing down to take a look at me. The park, with the flatbed Ford, was created by the city back in 1999 to add to the magic of the city of Winslow. And it's estimated that over 100,000 people visit this site every year, myself included, and like many of us, have that photo of standing on the corner posted on our social media. Now, the Hotel La Posada is a must-see and a must-stay if you're in the area. Built back in the 1920s, it is definitely iconic, and after its renovation, has become one of the top hotels in the Southwest. It is set in a restored railroad hotel built by the Santa Fe Railway. This beautiful southwestern-style hotel lies next to the Winslow Amtrak station and just a few minutes' walk from Winslow's Route 66 Park. Now, if you're not in the mood to stay in a hotel, if you want to camp, paddleboard, and kayak, McHood Park and Clear Creek are a must-see. If you stay close to town and want a nice cold one after a hot day, can I suggest the iconic Relic-Road Brewing Company? Fried pickles are on the menu. Hey, if you're not going to make a stop at the majestic Painted Desert and Petrified Forest east of Winslow, I strongly encourage you drive just a little bit north of Winslow to the Little Painted Desert Park, giving you a view and not so crowded. Now, what's even more exciting is the Meteor Crater. It is the best preserved Meteor Crater site on Earth. Don't forget to take the old way to get there by stopping by Meteor City off Interstate 40 at exit 239. And it's home of the now closed but roadside photo-worthy Meteor City Trading post. Movie trivia here. This was a site used in the movie Starman back in '84 when Starman meets Mark Sherman from SETI. I've created my top 10 list of must-sees in Winslow, and they're posted on ArizonaPodcast.com. Simply look for Winslow, Arizona Podcast, or you can search for show 2202 for details. Of course, there are twice as many things to see and do in Winslow, and I encourage you to visit this little gem of a city the next time you're on the highway. Up next, a moment with the mayor, the Honorable Roberta Birdie Cano. Next on the Arizona Podcast.
Did you know that if you shift your spending to an Arizona business, you're also helping your local economy? Whether you're shopping for food, grabbing a quick item from a store, or searching for a local service provider, a simple shift on your part can help support and improve the quality of life for everyone. In baseball terms, when you support the hometown team, you're supporting your hometown family. Go to shiftarizona.com. This message is brought to you by Bedmart, an Arizona business proudly supporting Local First Arizona.
Officially, it's Roberta Wilcox Cano. She is the mayor of Winslow, Arizona, but she goes by the nickname of Birdie.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited for today.
Me too. There is so much that I want to talk to you about. I mean, you're a hometown girl there in Winslow. You've been living there. You moved out. You went to Yuma. You became a corrections officer. And then you got married. And then you came back to the city of Winslow and you said, I want to be a part of this. I just wanted to bring you into the conversation early because you are such a delight. And my father taught me, like many parents would do, if you're not part of the solution, you are certainly part of the problem. I think you took that to heart. I have to brag about you if you don't mind. The only question that popped into my head first was why? You hold a few interesting titles. You proudly sit in a position of mayor as the first Native American, the first Navajo, the first Native American Navajo woman mayor of Winslow. What took so long? What a wonderful community, and it should be represented by someone that can work with all the people of the city. You're elected. I'm surprised it took so long, but welcome. And what are you doing in the city of Winslow?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? So, I heard a couple different things that you're wanting to know about. What's my motive? Born and raised in Winslow, Arizona. Left because, we're a small community. There's not a lot of opportunities here. I went on, made a life for myself. At a certain point when my kids were very young, I decided that they needed to grow up like I did. Family all around, friends, culture, just the root. I recognized that they wouldn't get that where we were living in Yuma. Beautiful culture though, obviously, but it would never be the same as what I experienced. So I moved back in 2005, easily able to transfer from the Yuma prison to the Winslow prison, state prison. I just kind of felt like, wow, Winslow's got a lot to offer. Why are we spinning our wheels? Why are we stagnant? It just really boggled me because we have so many great amenities. We have a railroad. We have a beautiful airport. We are on I-40. We've got just land. I mean, the opportunity was there, and it boggled my mind why we couldn't grow and prosper. So fast forward a few years, I switched careers and I start working for the city. We just had a little old thinking, kind of status quo. Everything's fine. We're good. Never really had the right people to lead the charge to tap into what I knew we could be. So it just got very frustrating because I'm working for the city and I'm thinking, man, somebody really should do something about this. No wonder we're not growing. No wonder these businesses keep passing us by. No wonder we're not, And so it's that point in your life where you say, if not you, then who?
Then who?
If not now, then when? So yeah, if you know what the problem is, you better get in there and do something about it. And so the thing about the first Native woman, the first Native person to ever be a mayor in Winslow was just something I learned about working for the city. It really just boggled my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a bonus to me. But the first thing I decided was things have to change here. And I know how to do it, or I know how to get started. I know how to plant the seed to make it happen. And then it just so happens to be that, I am of Native descent, and it's about time.
Good for you.
It's trailblazing. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and to understand the history of Winslow, Mary and I have both taken the time to learn about as much as we can about the state of Arizona and its people and its communities, its cities, and what they do and what they don't want to do. It just warms my heart when you speak with people that want to see change, and I'm not talking politically like you hear on all the ads on radio and television. I'm talking about people that really have a heart and a passion for what they're doing. They love their community. They want to see the change happen on multi-levels. I mean, I can only imagine sitting in the mayor's seat. You are like the head of the Chamber of Commerce. You're the head of the Junior Chamber of Commerce. You're the head of the police department. You're in charge of everything that happens within the city and the community you've been elected to. And then you've got to come up with ideas. And one of the biggest things for any city is commerce. So how do you do that? How do you bring people in? How do you make them combine? Of course, we're going to tie this in. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to make you brag about Old Route 66 and what the city has done to invite people. And we're so excited to be a part of this series of Route 66 too, as it begins to celebrate its centennial in 2026. So I can only imagine that you in the city of Winslow have it on your burner, if not the front burner, the back burner, of ideas and more ways of bringing the millions of people that will be traveling during the centennial into the city of Winslow.
Absolutely. That is like the biggest party we're going to have in Winslow. What I did for the city when I worked prior to being elected, I was called the Community Services Coordinator, which was pretty much like the party planner for the city. So I've got this, I could throw a party in a week, let me tell you.
I bet.
But no, it's just a blessing. I think what Winslow has is just this energy, and it's even more so now, more so that things are really kind of moving and happening and slowly changing and just kind of making a difference in people's lives. People are paying attention. There was this apathy before where, oh, that's just who we are. That's just how we are. Nothing's ever going to change. And not today. I'm telling you, there's this like revitalization of like attitudes and just people wanting to do better and have more. And that's kind of my whole point of wanting Winslow to grow and prosper, is because I loved growing up here. I just couldn't stay. I couldn't sustain.
Right.
And that's the ultimate goal, is that our young people want to stay in Winslow. They can have a career here. They don't have to move to Phoenix or LA or anywhere else in the United States. Everything's right here, and it's a great place to raise your children. I mean, we had the most tight-knit group of people and all cultures. I mean, I really want to stress just how cohesive everybody is in the city. It's just a beautiful melting pot, and you just really can't duplicate that anywhere else, in my opinion. I can't say I've done that, but I know what my childhood was like, and it was wonderful. And that's why I had to bring my kids back.
Mary and I are based out of Fort Mojave. We like water. That's our big thing. We paddleboard and we kayak, and that's what we like. And trust me, this was like the place for us to go when you leave somewhere like San Diego. I love Winslow and its surroundings. I won't bore you too much. In the summer of 1969, the family packed up and we made our way from Cleveland, Ohio to Los Angeles, California. Now, along the way, my father decided that we had to stop at every watering hole and every trading company and everywhere he would take us. But it really wasn't until we crossed the border into Arizona that I came alive. And I don't mean because we got closer to California. I distinctly remember at 9 years old, and I won't tell you how old I am, but that was a long time ago. I still remember crossing the border into Arizona and going to Chief Yellow Horse Trading Company. I remember going into the city of Winslow. I remember the Meteor City Trading Company and the domed restaurant and everything that there was. And then there was the Petrified Forest and the Painted Desert and the Meteor Crater. And as we proceeded making our way west, those are the things that really stuck out to me. And it was one of those things that I need you to know, that when I told Miss Mary the quest is to make our way back on Route 66, and trust me, COVID came in and wiped out a whole lot of our bucket list ideas simply because traveling wasn't an option. I think surviving was more important.
Right,
and
yes.
So just so you know, Winslow is our last stop.
Oh,
we made it from Santa Monica Pier, and we take it in steps as we made our way across California and Arizona. Like 10 million other people, I could look at the picture right here on the wall, and it's me standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, just like the song says. I have that photo, like millions of other people, of standing on that corner in Winslow. Again, a boom to the city that got people to come in and see the city of Winslow that maybe they weren't aware of. You're right on the hub of 40. So you, and I don't know if you were part of that back in the party planning of bringing the Eagles tune to life, but tell me, what other plans are there to bring people?
I wasn't a part of the original Standing on the Corner Foundation. It was trailblazers from like the mid 90s, early 90s to about the early 2000s that thought of that concept. Just figured out a way to bring people off of 40.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we already had the song. It was kind of a thing. And, you know, we just had people who were brilliant and said, oh my gosh, we have this great corner downtown. Why don't we market that and say, you know, this is the location. So I'm going to give you a quick little fun tip. Every mother, you know, that's my mother and her generation, says that she's the girl in the flatbed Ford. So they all have that claim to fame. I'm like, well, how many of you were on that corner? My goodness. Anyways, yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, every woman of a certain age says that they're the girl in the flatbed Ford.
In the flatbed Ford, yeah. And for those listening, the whole concept of the Arizona podcast is to get you to come to Arizona and to get you to come see these things. Every city has something they want to invite you to come see. Right. But the whole concept of the Eagles song taking off the way they did, I mean, 4 lines? In the song, and all of a sudden there's a spot in Arizona, and Arizona says, hey, come in and look. The restaurants are flourishing in Winslow. It's officially called the Standing on the Corner Park, correct? They have given it a name. You have your First Street Pathway Park. You have so many little things that people can come to. They could probably spend an entire day.
Oh, totally.
And your relic-road brewing company, I wouldn't know what that is.
Right. No, we have several restaurants downtown. It's so alive and just energetic. There's people up and down the streets. I remember before I-40 came through as a little kid, the hustle and bustle of our downtown area. I remember going to the drugstore and getting a little soda, and you know, people just coming in, tourists. It was lively, it was energetic. My parents used to go dancing every weekend. It was just the quintessential Route 66 experience.
Right.
And then in the 80s, when I-40 came through, it just ended. And in the early 90s, all of our downtown was boarded up. It was a very depressing time.
Right.
And that's, you know, about the time when I'm going off in the world. And, you know, that's really where you think, man, there's nothing here for me at all. So you got to move on. But I tell you, with the movement of Route 66, where people are just recognizing what a wonderful experience that was. I mean, you just shared with me what you went through, like going to all these places and seeing all these things that you never realized was in the United States. You know, it's just a wonderful thing. So I got to brag on 2 things.
Please do.
You mentioned water. And Winslow is high desert, so we don't have a ton of trees. We don't have the saguaros. We're a very special dry desert climate, but still all the same beautiful. We have the Little Painted Desert where, you know, we definitely have our perks. We do have this park. It's called McHood Park, and it hosts the Clear Creek.
Yes.
And you would never believe that amount of water could be in this kind of desert region.
Is this the secret that I'm thinking of? This is an actual place where every year you have an event where people come out and sit in the water, stand on the water with their paddle boards and camp and have an entire weekend?
Yes.
That's the park, McHood Park.
Yes. McHood Park and Clear Creek. Kayaking, fishing, it's fabulous. People just, you know, we used to go there every single day and go swimming, and it was a very strict locals only attitude. But today we have guests, and we're happy to have as many guests as we receive every year. It's just packed with people.
I have to tell you, your local community and And again, I use the word commerce. I mean, you have a lot of people trying to bring people to Winslow. I don't know how they found me. It must have been on our Instagram page or maybe even Twitter. I got an invitation to be a part of the McHood Park, and my wife and I, hoping that we can get the time off, would be kind of fun. You have the opportunity to camp there that weekend and then be part of this event. Is this the same one I'm thinking of?
We started it in 2019. It's called Clear Creek Days, a 2-day festival, kids events. I mean, stand-up paddleboard races, kayak races. It was a very sports-oriented, and driven event. But we also had bands later in the evening. We had food vendors and things like that. But since COVID started, the next year, we kind of put a hold on it, and we just haven't really had the momentum or ability to start it up again. Well, now that I'm I was kind of one of the key players in making it happen. So now that I'm not in that capacity anymore, it's really good. We need all the help we can get. We'll find the right person to help spearhead the next one, and it'll be fantastic. So
I can only imagine how much fun that can be. You, like I said, you guys are always creative and innovative, and I find that probably having your background of staying in control, leadership, and then being a party planner, you certainly are going to bring more and more people to it. The other one people may not be aware of, I mean, we have the Painted Desert and the Petrified Forest, which to me are always going to be one and one. I mean, they're inclusive. But the city of Winslow is very proud of the Little Painted Desert County Park. So share with our listeners, please, what that is.
Well, it's just a little extension of the Painted Desert. You can actually see it from high vantage points in Winslow. It's gorgeous. You just look off into the background, and it's your quintessential Arizona experience. You could be pretty much anywhere in Winslow and kind of look in that direction and see, the beauty of it. So it's just another amenity, and some people really genuinely appreciate just that landscape, the different colors, and yes, go hike it. It's just one of our many things that we can offer people that want to come and stay a few days with us. And actually, what I like to promote with all of our guests is that, Winslow is our hub of adventure. You have 4 directions of adventure in Winslow, Arizona. North, south, east, west. You can drive for maybe say 60 miles and be in a totally different climate, a different scenery, a different experience. And I feel like do another direction the next day. You really just are in the central area of so many different parts of and experiences of Arizona. So stay a week, stay 2 weeks, it's the spot where you can home base and then just explore everywhere in Arizona.
The one thing I noticed, to me, and again, I always tried not to be too political, the state of California is a hashtag together. It would be epic fail. And that is, to me, because I travel from the Colorado River, Mojave Valley area to San Diego quite often. And I have found many of the many back roads are so much easier to drive than... So I like the 2-lane roads. I love old Route 66. I love making my way from the Arizona border through Amboy and then out to 29 Palms. So desert roads don't bother me at all. But my sadness, and it's leading to a question to you, Bertie, is... There are stretches of Route 66 in California that are so dilapidated you wouldn't drive it. And there's 2 stretches between Ludlow, Daggett, where you can't go because the bridge washed out 10 years ago and it still hasn't been replaced. And from Amboy to Needles, there's a long stretch, 20-mile stretch that you can't travel. That road's been closed again probably 10 years or so. So I'm really hoping that California will step up to the plate, as they are the end of Route 66 on its journey of the Mother Road. But what I have found, and I want to congratulate you, mostly every part of Route 66 in Arizona that we have traveled is travelable. They're taken care of. I've taken that stretch from, Oatman to Kingman, which... it's a white knuckle on occasion, but the roads are still nice. And that's where I wanted to come back to you. You're taking care of downtown. You're promoting Route 66. What is Winslow doing or planning to do, bringing out the welcome mat for all those millions that will travel the Centennial?
Luckily, I mean, there are stretches in Arizona that, you can go off to the side. It's mostly, like, especially in my area, there's still old stretches of Route 66, the original Route 66, that kind of have fallen off the wayside and turned into dirt roads and things like that. But coming off of I-40 into Winslow, Arizona, we have two one-way streets, 2nd and 3rd Street, and they're both considered Route 66. Preservation is key. And obviously, it's going to always be maintained and always be our pride and joy, because they host a slew of businesses, homes. It's just kind of our central location for people to come in and out of Winslow. Like I said, the 4 directions of adventure, you're going in and out of on Route 66. You're going to have to touch it at some point to do any of those 4 directions. No, and that's the thing. Standing on the corner park got us revitalized, but Route 66 is our lifeblood. It's just phenomenal. The amount of people that come through every day, the amount of tourism, just the interest that people have about that classic, experience like you were describing with your family.
Yeah.
They just want that back to basics.
I can still remember, again, 9 years old, Interstate 40 hadn't even been invented yet.
Right.
So
right.
you had to travel those roads and go east of you. There was Tucumcari, New Mexico. We stayed there one evening, and they are doing a revitalization as well. There's the halfway point. Every community is doing something for this huge centennial. I am hoping that every city along the way will take pride and maybe bug the Arizona Department of Roads and Transportation to come out and help in the revitalization. There's just going to be way too many people on the highways. My fear is probably your fear as well. All those little communities that want to see that revitalization, it won't happen unless you take care of the road to get them there. So I'm hoping that people just don't stay on Interstate 40 and say, nah, I'll deal with that on the way back, or I'll look at that when I do something else. The problem with Interstate 40, which I'm not saying is a problem, but in this case, it allows you to go at a very high rate of speed, and you can get from one point A to point B very quick. I think everyone should take a moment and travel old Route 66 and support each community that you travel through. Even if you stop just to take a photo, go in and buy a Slim Jim if you want. Just be part of the process of revitalization of such. The Mother Road is going to become dilapidated. But as long as I'm alive, I want to be a part of that 2026 centennial. Mary and I have been talking about the opportunity maybe of stopping in communities and doing a podcast live during.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just to be a part of the magic. I was speaking with the mayor of Williams, and John was telling me, as mayor, I told him I would love the opportunity to tip my cowboy hat and shake hands after doing the interview. And he said, I'll try to make an appointment and make that happen. He said, are you kidding? Any evening after 6 p.m., you'll find me in the street shaking hands with visitors.
Love it. Yeah.
I think that's what people don't understand about small-time living in Arizona. Yeah, you have Phoenix and you have the big cities, Mesa and the like. Tucson's kind of big, Flagstaff's kind of big. But you get into those small towns, you get to meet people like you, Bertie, who are really anxious to invite people to come see what you have to offer.
Yes, no, I love that. That's real. If we're having a big celebration, I'm probably going to be in our downtown Route 66 Plaza DJing.
I had a vision of you scratching. It was kind of fun to see.
Yeah. No, I am totally engaged in my community. I try to make it to everything I'm invited to. And that's why I did it. I love it. I have no problem. It's not a chore. I'm invested in the city. And I think people come here and feel it. They see that, these people are onto something. They got it going on here. Come here. We'll meet. We'll go have a nice lunch. We'll break bread together. Maybe have a beer. We'll have a good time.
I love the idea of sharing a long neck.
Yes.
I'll do it on a night that you're DJing downtown. And then
Right, yeah.
that'll be the complete package for me. I'll just be in a little bit of hog heaven. But I hope as things go along here and the Arizona podcast, which is just in its infancy, will have graduated to adulthood by 2026. And we'll be able to, like I said, journey into these small towns again and really enjoy what Route 66 has to offer. I think it's me out here, and I can literally say this on the podcast, and you'll get a chuckle out of it when I say there are some really awesome mayors along Route 66. And we actually have one mayor that's an ass. So you can say that if you...
I love it. Yes.
The honorary mayor of Oatman, and people come in and they go, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, if you've never been to Oatman, you won't get it. But go to Oatman and ask to talk to the mayor, and you'll find out what an ass the mayor is. I'm only a hop, skip, and a jump from Oatman. I still get a kick going by and seeing that small town and what they do as well. Do all the mayors along Route 66 or those in charge? Do you guys communicate? Do you come up with ideas? Do you share time together? Or do you stay in your own community?
We do reach out whenever, we have things to share or, events to promote. We definitely, have meetings and things that we kind of come together and try to figure out solutions for some of our small town problems. But that's one of the things I really want to work on, especially going east with our partner or our, sister cities, just our communities right down the road, Joseph City and Holbrook. They're both kind of similar to Winslow, have great Route 66 historic features. And I just really, have love for that small town community. And I want to be able to promote them and support them, and they'll come and do the same. We got to stick together,
Absolutely.
Sometimes our bigger communities, our cities get, a lot of the attention, and it's about time we kind of join forces and become unified and, make a voice for ourselves.
I was completely amazed to find out that the Meteor Crater itself is not a national park. It's not run by the state. It's actually private. It's privately owned. And I was not aware of that until, of course, we went to the Meteor Crater again. So it's kind of interesting to see that. I'll call that big business. That is a big hole. The Meteor Crater is a big hole. They, too, invite people. Like I said, for those that don't know, just west of Winslow is Meteor City. And for those that are saying, what is Meteor City? There's one building at Meteor City. It has its own on-ramp and off-ramp. And I think the trading company there is still closed. Nothing's moved there yet. But it's still kind of fun to pull off and take a photo if you want. But Meteor City, for those that watched movies in the 80s, there was a movie called Starman. And Starman, believe it or not, traveled Route 66. At that time in the movie, I believe they did a whole lot on Interstate 40. But, from the Starman making his way to the Meteor Crater, for those that haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, he goes to the Meteor Crater. The restaurant they use in the scene of the movie is that trading company. It's a domed building next to a trading store. And they use that, which I thought would also keep that alive. I was kind of hoping that would revitalize that.
Right, yeah. We
bring it up quite often. On Maui, we always say, pack it in, pack it out. And if you see somebody forgot, pack it out for them. When you're out either standing on the corner park or McHood Park, even just out exploring and hiking, pick up after yourself. Let's keep the trails clean for everybody. And that's the one thing we noticed when we went through Winslow. It's a very clean town. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride there.
Yes.
The standing on the corner park was just immaculate. I mean, there was just nothing. There was no trash, no garbage, no cigarette butts. Everything was just kind of like, you wondered, we came on a weekday off season and it was still taken care of. So pat your department on the back for us. That means,
thank you. No,
that's
great.
Community.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's just one of those areas we realize we get so many visitors, and it could be any time of year. It could be snowing, freezing cold. There is always someone on that corner snapping a picture. So, yeah, it's just been a blessing.
Well, we lucked out. We lucked out when we went. There was maybe two or three other couples that had made it, and everybody was kind to each other. It wasn't like the Las Vegas sign where there's like a million people and they're all yelling at you to hurry up and take your photo. They all kind of work together and make sure they're not in the shot while you're trying to recreate that moment on the corner. Before I let you go, Bertie, what's the future? What is the future of Winslow?
Oh my gosh, our future is bright. Let me tell you. I'm going to do one more quick brag.
Okay.
And then you'll see where this is going. Winslow was chosen out of thousands of cities for a HGTV spin-off series called Hometown Kickstart.
Oh.
So we actually have an episode out there of a transformation of a public space, a citizen's home. Their kitchen was renovated, and a business. So, we had been working on putting this video together for over the last summer, just kind of made the cut. And finally they picked us as one of the 6 cities across the United States that would have their own episode of Hometown Kickstart.
Well, good for you.
So, yes, no, it's been a blessing. And, oh man, what they did is phenomenal. So please, everybody that's listening, come to Winslow, see our art car project, and visit the Rooper stand, which is another famous corner. You'll get the best chili fries you ever had in your life. And then right along the way, on your way to Rooper stand, is the home of a hometown hero that had his home renovated, as stated for this HGTV show. So our episode is called Twins Win Winslow, and it's celebrities from HGTV that came and just helped us kind of get that kickstart going.
Wonderful.
So with that, I feel like we are getting so much interest in just some of the land we have for sale, older buildings that need, just some love and care. People are saying, how, we want to come and open this, new store or restaurant, or there's just, like I said, an energy here that is unprecedented from anything that I've ever experienced. Minus when I was a little kid and Route 66 was still, full on going. I know 100% that this town is on its way just to this evolution that's going to change everything from this point on.
I spent a little bit more time on you than I've done with a lot of my guests, just because.
Well, thank you.
Was learning about, like I said, where you've been, and where you are now, and what you plan on doing in the future, and what you've done. All cities have a trial and tribulation. Community outreach is one of the toughest things that any mayor has to deal with, is getting people to work with the city, getting people to work with the police department, and to tie that in, I'm going by notes in my head because for some reason I can't find the notes in front of me. Your husband is a peace officer, correct?
Yes, he's a lieutenant with the Winslow PD.
So that has to be a boon in your favor, that you can now get that city hall to police department to community outreach where maybe previous administrations or previous years hasn't been able to be done. So hats off to you, Bertie, for jumping in there. Again, you are the living and breathing example of, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. You jumped in there,
yes.
And I am proud of you. I've never met you, but I am so proud of you. And I'm proud that I've been able to talk with you and learn more about you in the city. I promise you, I will call you, or I think I have your text number around here somewhere.
Yes.
And I will let you know when Mary and I pick up again. So
Perfect.
Just so everybody knows, yes, I will be zipping down the 40 all the way until we get to Winslow, then pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
I want to come by. I want to try the chili fries, but maybe we'll plan it in advance. And I would love to.
Okay.
I'd love to have that beer with you, and I would certainly love to watch you DJ in the center of town.
Right. Yes. No, absolutely. I was just gonna say we haven't met, but we can fix that easily.
Let's do that. Then,
Yes.
like I said, our plan is to make it all the way to Chicago before anything else happens or some ungodly pandemic that jumps into us. So,
Right.
Roberta, I don't know. Do we just simply call you Bertie? Do we call you Roberta?
You can call me Bertie, yes.
Can I call you Bertie?
Yeah. Listen, I'm just a regular person. Never had any kind of political aspirations. I'm just a regular person.
You just seem like you're the living example of a hometown girl, aren't you?
Right. Yeah. And you know what? In the process, here I am. Again, it's just one of those things that, you know what, you gotta take the plunge. You gotta try. You gotta,
be part of.
Be part of the solution.
Be a part
Absolutely.
of the solution. I love it.
Right.
I hope the people that are listening will not zip by Winslow on their
Absolutely
way down the
not.
fort. I
Come
want you to
in.
pull over, go in and look. If you're not familiar with the Eagles song, go listen to it again. And then you
Right.
say, hey, I got a picture on the corner of Winslow, Arizona on a flatbed
And
Ford.
you know what? If I'm downtown, I will take your picture.
I want you.
I'm downtown
You're gonna.
all the time.
I got an idea. Let's do this. Let's get a key to the flatbed Ford. You can drive
Okay.
the Ford with Mary, and then we'll get a
Okay.
photo, and two girls will be looking at me on the
Right, there
on
you
the corner.
go.
of
Hey,
Winslow.
how lucky is this guy? Absolutely.
Well, listen, Bertie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you for your time. This was fun, wonderful, and I'm just thrilled to meet you. Come to Winslow, Arizona. You can take it easy or you can take it to the limit.
Program terminated. Thank you for listening to the Arizona Podcast. For more information on our podcasts, the people, places, events, or the sponsors heard, visit ArizonaPodcast.com. Available for download everywhere.